Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And I'm
Roast.
Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our preview for Dexter Resurrection, Season 1, Episode 3. This episode is titled Backseat Driver. Gee, I wonder why. And it's going to be coming up on Showtime/Paramount Plus next week.
And we are going to get into everything we know about this episode, everything we think is coming up in this episode. I mean, with a title like that and the cliffhanger that we had, where Dexter was basically like, this imposter that has been dubbed the Dark Passenger has to be dealt with. There is no way, I should have trademarked that name, so funny, that he's going to want to deal with him. And because we've seen that there are all these other connections to Charlie, and we haven't met Leon yet, and the killer network, all of that, it's all going to come to a head. And that's what we're going to talk about because we feel like that's what's getting set up in this episode.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to keep Peter Dinklage away from us forever because let's
No.
be honest, why would you ever want to keep Peter Dinklage from us forever? I think this is all still the table setting phase of this show, which, as many of you probably know, the plan here for Clyde Phillips and Michael C. Hall is that this is not another New Blood. This is not another limited series. The plan is for this to go on many, many years. So if you're sitting here and being like, are you guys stalling this out? No, they're taking their time because they can take their time.
And I'm happy for the slow ride. I would rather them take their time and give us a really solid story. So far, these first two episodes, they're great. So, I mean, if
Yes.
the rest of the season is at this pace, I'm fine with it.
All right, well, we have a lot to say, a lot of theories, but be sure to hit that subscribe button because we don't want you guys to miss any other Dexter coverage. Our review of the Dexter Resurrection 2-part premiere is up here at the channel. There's a link in the description. I mean, thank you guys so much for your reception on that video. It's been so fun talking with you about the show so far.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. So hit that subscribe button. We are here 3 times a week with Dexter previews, reviews, theories, lots of Dexter coverage. And over on our Patreon right now, we are covering the new Jensen Ackles show Countdown. And we will also be having more Dexter discussions over there. I'll leave a link for you below. And thank you so much to everyone who has joined.
Thank you guys. We very, very much appreciate that.
All right, let's get into this imposter who has, gotten this moniker of Dark Passenger, which is pissing off Dexter. Nobody likes it. Dexter wants to deal with it, and he knows he needs to. So it feels like we're setting up for one of two directions with this, because we saw Charlie in these first 2 episodes go to this imposter's house, find all the driver's licenses with the blood X's on them, and leave this imposter an invitation and some money, seemingly to the serial killer network that has been hyped up all season long. So, tinfoil hats for this preview. This is one of 2 ways that this is going. This is either going in the direction where Dexter is going to find the imposter, he knows who he is, and he is going to kill him, and is going to catch the attention of Charlie and Leon, who's going to be like, who is this guy? We were interested in the imposter, but we're more interested in the man who killed the imposter. Or 2, and this is where I think it's going, Dexter is going to find the invitation while or after he has killed the imposter. He's going to find the invitation, and he is going to become his own imposter, and he's going to go to this meeting of the killer minds. We saw him in the trailer all dressed up in like a hoodie with sunglasses, being like, how do I look? And I'm just like, okay, well, what's that about? But now that we've seen episode 1, episode 2, and we see that the imposter is hoodie and, hiding his face and all that, I think that he is going to find this invitation, dress up and pretend to be the imposter, and show up at this meeting. And Leon in the trailer is just like, man, I am so excited to meet you. But because Dexter's been dead and he's not necessarily attached to anything, unless they've dug really deep and been able to figure out who he is, I think he's in there pretending to be somebody else.
I think so now too. Like going into this season, obviously we didn't know about any of this Dark Passenger stuff that was out here. And so we were all kind of coming into this with this idea of like, okay, clearly Charlie and Leon, they have found a way to identify that Dexter is still out there. Leon's got a lot of money. Maybe he's pulled some resources into doing this, but now it's really taking care of a major problem for themselves,
Mhm.
which is just that even if Leon had a lot of money, it felt like Dexter was pretty careful in faking his own death for a good while, to the point where people like Batista, until fairly recently, until New Blood, really thought that he was gone. It
Mhm.
makes a lot more sense for Prater and Charlie for now to sort of think that, okay, the Bay Harbor Butcher was Stokes.
Mhm.
That's all in the past. And also, we know what the Bay Harbor Butcher does, what the MO was. And, I've even seen a lot of comments talking about this already, this idea of like, okay, would Leon and Charlie willingly invite someone into their fold whose whole practice is taking out really, really bad people because he's then just going to take out all of them?
Yeah, I mean, it could be something that Leon might be worried about, but I don't think so. He's a billionaire. He's got a huge ego. He's got Charlie. He's probably not worried about it. He's probably like, this will be the ultimate get, the serial killer that kills other killers, and he'll be with me, that kind of thing. I think Leon is definitely living on the edge if the thing that he's collecting or bringing into his life are a bunch of killers. So I think that he thinks he's invincible.
Yeah, he probably would think that, okay, even if I have Dexter and, oh, well, this is what the Bay Harbor Butcher does, he's not going to do it to me. It's sort of like all of these people who do really, really crazy stunts. They see online, other people break their legs or whatever, jumping off a 2-story balcony into a swimming pool, and you're just like, I'm a daredevil. It's never happened to me before. It's
Right.
not going to happen right now. But I think the real question mark for me entering this episode, yeah, I do think your theory here is correct that Dexter is going to pretend to be this imposter. But the question becomes, okay, how is he going to go about taking him out? And that kind of brings us into
Mhm.
the very vague but interesting synopsis for this episode, which is Dexter tries to carefully balance attempts to help him get acclimated. Let's make one thing clear. This is not a reference to him staying at Blessing's place, to him, like,
Right.
finding it. This is, how is he going to get acclimated to becoming a killer again?
Absolutely. This isn't, let me see where the grocery store is. How far away is the laundromat? This is him getting his footing in New York City. This is a different city, a different time. Things are completely different. He doesn't have his boat. Everything is wildly different. So, how is he going to get his footing to be able to do what he does and actually be able to take Ronald out? Like, he knows who he is, he knows
Yes.
where he works. He's going to be able to figure out all the rest of it, where he lives. He'll I'm sure he's going to find the evidence that he actually needs to prove that it's him, because that is something that is part of the code. He has to be sure. And that's where he's going to find that invitation, because they put it right on top.
The thing that will be very interesting on top of all of that, and this is why I'm glad Dexter is taking its time so far and sort of establishing the new characters, is that Dexter also has to find a way to take this guy out because he's older now. This is
Mhm.
not, the young, spry Dexter that we saw in the OG season one. He
He's
also,
also been shot.
yeah, he's also still recovering. And I like the idea that, okay, he's slower now. He's not going to overpower anybody physically. So he has to make sure, whether it is he gets his supply back. We kind of saw the origins of how he got his supply in the first place in Original Sin.
Mhm.
But okay, he's got to find a way to knock people out and then find a way to then get them back to his table. And can you really do this if you're in a city where there is so many people watching at every turn? I mean, even in the middle of the night, there's always people milling about New York City, but is it just so crazy that you see somebody kind of doing a Weekend at Bernie's thing with the body going down the street and they're just like, it's New York, let's not pay any attention to it?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, Dexter doesn't have the resources he used to. Even in the first two episodes, it's like, oh man, I'm at a crime scene and
Yeah.
I'm not actually part of Miami Metro. I'm not actually supposed to be here. And if somebody catches me here, it's a different situation than, yeah, I'm with Miami Miami Metro. I'm supposed to be here. So, getting access to his supply to be able to take people out, that's not here. Him being able to get access to crime scenes, not here. A lot of the clues that he used to be able to thread together because he worked for the police, gone,
Yeah.
right? So he's in such a different spot now, which I think is what elevates this show to the next level. We have all been on the journey where he has access to all the things he needs to make all his kills nice and seamless and clean. No boat, no nothing now. So how does he actually go about it? How is he going to be able to dispose of the bodies? How is he going to be able to knock them out if he can't get, the drugs to be able to do so? There's a lot here that is him almost like starting out for the first time.
It's got a MacGyver-ish quality to it, and this is where I'm going to put on a tinfoil hat and say
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know if Dexter was even thinking about this intentionally, but he has the perfect job now for being able to do whatever it is he needs to do, because I've been in enough heavily populated areas at this point to sort of know everyone just always assumes that there's a rideshare, an Uber, or a Lyft driver just kind of milling about because people always need them. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you are in the police, like maybe you're coming from home or maybe your partner's got the squad car or something else is going on there. Like, I don't think it's going to be that suspicious to any cops that, oh, there's an Uber driver nearby, because of course there's an Uber driver nearby.
And here's the thing too with Dexter kind of being still Dexter now because Angel has brought him back from the dead. Oh, I reinstate everything. It's gone. All your death certificate gone. You're back on the board again. We know that Charlie and Leon do their research to really figure out who's who sort of thing, right? So with Ronald, they know who he is. They know what he looks like. I mean, at Blessing's house, we did have the other rideshare driver be like, man, yeah, he was tall. He had this blondish hair. You know what? He looked exactly like you. I'm like, okay, so this is kind of where we're going with this. But as much as they look similar, they don't look this exactly the same. So I'm kind of wondering how he's really going to be able to pass that off, because I feel like Charlie and Leon and the research that they're going to have into bringing in these killers, it's going to be spot on. He's got money and time to make sure that it's the right person. So how is Dexter really going to be able to switch this around? Because while they look similar, we've seen what Ronald looks like. They are different people.
Okay, here's how I think this is going to work, and I will make a reality TV analogy for this. Why not? We're in the midst of Big Brother season. But
Right.
anyway, so Dexter can basically be the survivor contestant who goes out onto the beach and, they're a lawyer, but they're like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to tell anybody my job. Like, it's fine or whatever. But then it's a week into the game, and then you slip up and you say something about a trial that only a lawyer would know. And then you're kind of have to like, oh, no, 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 no. Okay, yeah, I am a lawyer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but I was worried you would judge me. But now that you know me, it's okay, right? I think Dexter is sort of actively thinking, I can go in here, be the imposter. Dexter, for the most part, he tries to think ahead. He's not perfect, but I think he will recognize, okay, there's a chance that eventually they're going to figure out I'm not the real
Yes.
imposter. And if that happens, I mean, at that point, maybe you can pull off the mask and be like, I'm the Bay Harbor Butcher. And because Leon is clearly fascinated by killers, he's probably not going to be upset about that at all. This is kind of just Dexter's way to get his foot in the door, because if he still cares about the code and, making New York City a quote unquote better place, he's going to want to be a part of this group, maybe just not have the group be permanent.
Well, yeah, I mean, from the original trailer, that's kind of what it feels like, that, maybe he's going to become the imposter to find these other killers. And his plan is, I take out other killers, so let me get in here and deal with some of these worst of the worst that are there. But because we've kind of seen the trailer that at some point he's kind of like, I feel like I found my people. Uh-oh, like, where do I go from here at this point? Because my code is to take out other killers, but I feel like I'm part of something now that even if, say, Charlie doesn't figure it out, but I kind of think she's probably going to dig in deeper and figure it out and be like, hey, I know who you actually are. You are not the person that, is on the tin here. So who are you? That he will end up coming clean and being like, okay, listen, yeah, I'm not this guy. I killed that guy. I'm the guy who killed that guy. So you're going to want to be with me. You want me here. But I actually think that while there's a possibility that Leon will be like, yeah, this is great. I want this. No
Yeah.
problem. We'll let that slide. Charlie is not going to let that slide. And that she's very likely going to be like, if he lied to us once, he's going to lie to us again. We've got our own code that everybody just has to be honest about it, or this doesn't work out. He needs to go. And that's where we might be getting set up for future series where they're going to have their group of killers start to hunt them down.
I think there's just a lot of interesting tension that's going to be set up in this upcoming episode. And, including potentially some of this with Charlie, depending on when Leon becomes an active part of the show. But,
Right.
there's going to be all of that sort of push and pull. I think Dexter, and we saw this back, in season 3 with Miguel, and then we saw it later on with Hannah to a certain extent as well. This idea of Dexter feeling like he's found somebody who he can identify with, but then also struggling with the fact that they're doing terrible things. And this season is a way to kind of amplify that on some level, where what do you want to do to connect with other people? And that's ultimately kind of sort of where Harrison could be roped in with all of this, because there is this other question going on now. It's like, okay, Dexter knows where Harrison works. He's kind of keeping his eyes peeled for him. Harrison hasn't seen him yet. Like, when is Dexter going to take that leap? Because here is someone who would at least understand him on some level, but it's someone who also tried to kill him and does not want anything to do with him. So he's got that sort of internal struggle going on at the same time.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting in this episode to see him balancing what's going on with Harrison, because at the end of this last episode, Harrison's being pulled in to be questioned by the new super cop that I am extremely excited about. She's amazing. So he's going to be dealing with that. He's going to want to make sure that Harrison is okay. Yeah, he hasn't made any contact yet at this point. And, he thought he saw Dexter for a second, but he thinks he sees everybody right now. Everybody's a ghost at this point. But then Dexter's also going to be balancing then that he wants to have his moniker back and that he has to find the dark passenger and deal with that. And once he does, and he finds the proof and he finds the invitation, like, everything's just going to get real messy for him.
And this is why I feel like we can say, full chested here, that we are actually so back when it comes to the world of Dexter, where we have really serious emotional stories. A father and son, can they reconnect? Along with Dexter just being salty that someone has his name, and it's so ridiculous. But there's always been
so good though.
There's always been that element to this show, and I think that's something that New Blood kind of missed out on. But I think the first 2 episodes were so great. We've got so many things we're balancing. This is without even getting into the Batista of it all, and what his next move is going to be. But I think over the course of this season, we're going to get a lot of table setting for a multi-season show, but also an arc about how Dexter can really find himself, whether it's happy or at least content with a new life, because this is sort of the reverse of New Blood, where Dexter has a new life and Harrison's intruding on it. Harrison's got this life now. Dexter's intruding on it. Is there a way to find balance there that there wasn't in Iron Lake?
And it's interesting too, the whole blessing of it all and the family that's there and how he's been brought in. He lives downstairs. It's almost like what he had with Rita and having sort of the, good life and the friends and the people around. And we saw this kind of also with him back in Original Sin, where we first saw him being like, hey, here's donuts, everybody. I'm part of everything. We saw Harrison do that as well when he came into the hotel, which I thought was a nice throwback as well. Hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. Let me have a bagel. Everything's good, right? And I think that it's nice to see that they aren't just putting Dexter right away with another family where he's like, oh, another love interest. Maybe they have a kid, maybe whatever. That this is the new sort of shield around him where he looks really normal. He's got this great family around him, big family, lots of people, friendly. And that's going to be the new crew.
I'm so excited for the rest of this season. Like I thought the premiere was gonna be good, but it even surpassed my
Yeah.
expectations, and we're really, really grateful all of you are along for the ride. So for now, give us your predictions on Dexter Resurrection Season 1, Episode 3. Do you think that Dexter is going to become the dark passenger imposter, and this is his way to infiltrate Charlie and Leon's den? What else do you want to see? Share in the comments right now. And of course, hit that subscribe button.
Mhm.
We're so grateful to everyone who has, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. We are covering Countdown there exclusively in video form. Thank you
Mhm.
guys so much. We'll see you here next time.